Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this because this is the first time I think ever that I have combined both YouTube channels into one. So hello to my regular coffee chat viewers, but also hello to my Heart Breathings viewers who don't ever come to the Sarra Cannon side of the world. I was like, oh, our conversations are different at Sarra Cannon. So welcome. As a quick note, this is a judgment-free zone, as always. So I know that for some people, as you come into coffee chat and you are not actually usually over here because you're usually only on the writing side, the coaching side, etc. We talk about more personal things here. Sometimes we talk about things that are just kind of more open, like I don't know, we talk about crystals and we talk about our trauma from the past and we talk about things we're excited about and we talk about goals and words of the year and writing and we kind of go all over the place. So yeah, I think a lot of people are subscribed to both, but I also realize there might be some people here that are like, I didn't even know Sarra had 2 YouTube channels. So we are currently live on both YouTube channels today, Heart Breathings and Sarra Cannon. So this is the combination of both. Yeah, it's kind of writer therapy. I have some merch to show you guys too. Muse Always Wins is a design that originated NaNoWriMo Diaries 2021. Raise your hand if you were here for that NaNoWriMo Diaries where I was trying to finish my book, Fate's Surrender. And it was on pre-order and I missed the pre-order because I realized that the book needed to be not the final book in the series, but one more book. If you were here for that, this is just something that yay, hand raised. I was here. Sweet. Yeah. Okay. I see. That was like my shame, but also one of my most vulnerable times on the internet. I see lots of hands getting raised, because I was trying so hard and I did hit the 50K words, but I couldn't finish the book. And I was literally sobbing. And as I was going through that whole process, George kept saying something to me that he said to me many times over the years, which is, with you, the muse always wins. The muse always wins. Oh, I also have a sticker. I have a sticker on me. If you can't tell, I was organizing my stickers. I also had a YouTube sticker on here, which feels appropriate. Yeah, the muse always wins basically just means, you know, if it needs to be 4 books, like if you think it's going to be a trilogy, sometimes it's going to be 12 books and you just have to make the story what the story wants to be. And, you know, not every writer is like that. There's no good or bad based on whether the muse wins in your life. But for me, it just has to be the way the story is meant to be told. And if that means 5 books, that means 5 books, even if it breaks my heart and I miss a pre-order. So we had this design, One Moon. I thought I would just point this out since we're all together today. Moon is my Sarra Cannon brand. Heart is my Heart Breathings brand. So it's kind of like in all areas of my business and my life, the muse always wins. And it just has to be what it has to be. And yeah, thank you, Laura. For some people it's true, for some people not as true. But yes, no episode 13 today. I announced that on Monday, changed it in the calendar, announced it multiple places. Episode 13 is coming on Friday so that I didn't rush or push myself, which we're going to talk a little bit about that just in general, because we're talking about goals for 2026. In the chat, by the way, you can, oh no, side-eyeing the 95K romance novel draft. It's like, oh, why is it taking so long to bring these people together, right? It's like, it just sometimes has to be the way it's going to be. And it may not be the plan, but it is what it is. And we sometimes just have to follow it. And we have to kind of, I think, let go of the guilt. That is the thing, because like creativity and guilt do not mix well. And when we allow ourselves to be overwhelmed with guilt because we didn't follow through on something we thought we'd be able to, or we need another book, or the book is later than we thought, or we just needed a break. Like this year, hey Janine, how are you? This year, I just decided that if I was going to continue to do a lot of events for Spooktacular and Preptober, and I was going to do daily vlogs, I was going to have to give myself grace of being able to say, I need a day off, which is exactly what I did yesterday and Monday, which is why there's no vlog today, because no vlog yesterday, no vlog today, because I just needed a break. It's hard to be live every day. It's hard to be on every day. And it takes a few hours to do the edits every day. And I'm trying to finish a book at the same time. And definitely in the past, I have allowed myself to feel guilt over not being able to follow through. And part of it that I have reluctantly begun to learn is that, and this is where the super vulnerable part comes in. So just be forewarned. Part of that I know is because I promise too much. I say, oh, the book is definitely going to be out by this Friday, or I'm definitely going to finish this by tomorrow, or I'm going to be live every single day, because I feel from a deep-seated sense of like, I have to prove myself from when I was young and young trauma. I feel often, without even knowing it, without doing it intentionally, that I have to overpromise in order to be loved. And that if I don't have a new book, I have to be like, oh, but when it comes out, it's going to be 5 books and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I do it because part of me is still that little child looking up to an abusive mother and going, if I do this, maybe you'll love me. Maybe if I clean my room, maybe if I do this, she'll give me the attention I want. And then it not being enough. And then, having to go through that cycle again. And even at my age and after many years of therapy, some of those old systems still control the operating system, right? Or old programs are still running in my operating system. But here's what happened. Last year, this time, I pushed myself so hard because I was like, I am going to finish The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw come hell or high water. And I did finish it, and I'm proud of that book. But finishing that while also doing all these events for Spooktacular and everything else, and then going straight into travel and all that other stuff, I just pushed myself into illness. And tried again, because I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got to run HB90 and I've got to get this stuff going and we have to get Publish and Thrive going. I didn't allow myself to rest. And sometimes those moments of pushing yourself into burnout can be a gift because it forces you to get aware and to say, okay, I can't sustain this anymore. Some things have got to change. And so that is basically what I've been going through this entire year, is creative burnout recovery, trying to figure out why I feel this way, because this is another place where it's like, oh my gosh, Kate Kavanaugh's here. Woo! Hey, Kate, how are you? I also guilt myself about constant over promising. I'm trying to stop that cycle. Yeah, this is part of it, is if you are an over promiser, so it's coming from somewhere that you feel you need to do it in order to please other people, or to be loved, or to be accepted, or to be excited. Sometimes it's just, I'm super excited about this, so I'm going to talk about it as if it's coming and I promised it, when I'm not actually able to follow through. Part of it is being futuristic, where you're like, oh, I can totally do that. I can definitely write 5 books next year. But then that excitement hits reality. And then we are like, oh my gosh, why did I think I could do this? It's so much harder than I thought, when I'm also dealing with chronic illness or this other thing, or, anything. I love that. I find it fascinating because I'm scared to promise anything if I'm not 50,000% sure I can do it. And I do think that it really has to do with your personality, what you've been through, what excites you, where you've been burned before, just how cautious you are. It just has to do so much with, we're all different in our own way. And it is very, very helpful sometimes to, take those things that we feel like are bringing negative feelings to our lives or guilt in some way to our lives, and to say, okay, how can I, like, where is this coming from? What in my behavior is causing me to continue to do this and end up in this cycle? And so when we start thinking about our goals and what we want to do for 2026 and like how we want to step into the future and look into what we're doing next year, I think one of the most important things that we can do is some of that self-reflection and say, what is causing stress in my life? What is causing me to feel burned out? What is not really aligned with where I want to go and who I want to be? Like, where am I not being true to myself, or where am I holding myself back? Where am I keeping myself small? Where am I feeling guilt? Somebody said, I'm feeling guilt right now because I didn't get my book done. Aria. I'm going through some guilt. Finally had to scrape my work in progress because it's not coming together. So now I'm missing out on RDC. Yeah. So it's like sometimes you're missing out on something. Sometimes it's a promise that didn't get fulfilled. And not everybody's going to understand that. Like, not every situation will people give you grace, because some people will just be like, why didn't you get it done? It should have been on my desk by Friday. You promised this. And sometimes we just have to say, I'm very sorry I couldn't do it, because like past me thought I could do it. Actual me wasn't capable of it. But if you find yourself in a situation where you are consistently going through the same patterns and cycles over and over and over again, where you're like, gosh, I keep over promising and I keep disappointing people. And that cycle of me feeling guilt, because even if the community says, it's fine, it's worth the wait, we'll wait for it, there's always a part of me that says, but there's probably some people who are mad about it. And then it feels like it's everybody that's mad. And then it feels like I'm back into that old familiar, destructive, but comfort zone where I can't please everybody and I'm a failure or I'm fundamentally flawed. And I just have found myself in that cycle. And even though I'm doing way more than I ever used to do, I still carry that guilt. And I know that guilt is holding me back. So when I started really thinking through, what are my goals for 2026? And really, even at the beginning of the year, when I realized my goal for 2025 wasn't going to be able to be possible, I just had to slow down. Like, I took an entire month off. We did vacation time. I've done less videos this year, which, is a whole different topic, because less videos this year has resulted in less subscribers, new growth. And sometimes that is the reality of the world we live in too. Like, that could be an entire live chat talking about that. You put out less books, you spend less time on social media, you don't have the energy to market, or you can't, produce and be productive the way you were. Sometimes there's less outcome, less results. And that is one of the things that kind of sucks about the world that we live in, is, especially if you're an entrepreneur, is that it's not like YouTube rewards you for taking rest time, right? It's like, no, keep going, get on the hamster wheel, get those videos done. And so you have to kind of find that validation within yourself, instead of validation through subscriber numbers or how many people are watching or how many people bought your book. And so you have to kind of think through all of that stuff and deal with it on the inside. That is so true, Denise. Yeah. So somebody was like, I realized some of the comments aren't coming through in the chat, but that's because we've got 2 chats going on. And technically we're also live on Twitch. So we have a few people over there as well. Princess says, how did you realize the past causes you to overpromise? Asking because I'm wondering if the past may be what causes me to give up on a project early, so I never have to deal with failing. So part of how I realized it is just years long sessions in therapy and journaling and being like, what really is the cause of this? Now, I think it can be controversial to talk about different forms of therapy and stuff like that, but so much journaling. I've been doing internal family systems, which is a different kind of therapy. I've done EMDR in the past. So I've tried lots of different kinds of therapy. And through that, started to understand that, like, oh, there were some things, like so much of those kind of behaviors that are on autopilot come from our formative years, our childhood. So much of our subconscious beliefs are formed like before we turn 10 years old even. And so I started kind of looking at my life in through that lens of like, what possibly would have made me feel like failure was scary, or what would make me feel like I'm not good enough and I have to please other people. And so I started to realize some of those relationships and some of the meaning that I gave to it was causing me to continue down this path of like, I have to be loved, like I have to perform to be loved. So for you, I can't speculate necessarily what it would be that gives you this feeling of I got to give up because I don't want to fail. But it could be something as simple as you put yourself out there in a performance or a pageant or a school project and it didn't go very well. And that feeling of shame that you felt of like, I didn't get recognized for this, just got deep seated and integrated. Like it could be something like that, or it could be a trauma that was recurring in your life. And I can't obviously diagnose that, but I think sometimes what can be helpful is just journaling through it and being like, um, what is it that, like, where is the root of this fear? Where's the root cause of this fear? And seeing if some of that comes in. So what's my color season? Oh my gosh, now I have to remember because I just had my colors done this year. And now I can't remember because my brain is just going crazy. It's like all the jewel tone colors and stuff like that. But I kind of have two different seasons. I'll have to look. 'Cause no, if anybody remembers from this summer when I was posting it, let me know. Yes. So this is something I say all the time. I think Rachel just mentioned it again too. So if you've ever taken HB90, you have heard this a million times that we often plan for the habits we wish we had. We plan for the person we wish we were. We plan in the 2D, where we say, yeah, deep winter, dark winter, those like burgundy reds, navy blue, but also I can wear some colors like a bright hot pink and stuff like that, but like no yellows. I have to look it up, but something along those lines. But yeah, I think that like one of the ways I like to think about it is when we're planning for the future, and even when we're promising things ahead of time, we often plan in the 2D, like, oh, I'm just looking at a calendar and I'm thinking about, I have 90 days to do this. So if I have 90 days, I could do this, this, and this, and this. But we don't really think of it in the 3D of like us actually going through it. We plan for having a maximal productive day all the time, being our best selves, always being like feeling good. And even if we build in buffer days, which we talk about a lot, and we say, okay, well, I've got 30 days this month, but I'm going to plan for 25. Sometimes that's still not enough because we don't account for not feeling like feeling resistance or having to make decisions. Like one of the biggest bottlenecks to my writing is the plotting and the deciding what happens. And once I know what happens, I can often write very quickly because I type fast. And as long as the scene is in my head like a movie, I can knock it out. But it takes me months to figure out what happens. And I have tried lots of different processes and like working with other people to brainstorm. I've tried post-it notes and like journaling and different systems like Save the Cat and 3-act structure, 4-act structure, 5-point scenes. Like I've tried tons and tons of different stuff, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But part of the entire process of figuring out how to like actually match what our goals are with what we're capable of is just, first of all, knowing that it's more about like that you're headed in the right direction, that you are in alignment with where you most want to go. That is more important than going in terms of, sorry, it's like so much chat coming by, my brain stuttered. It's more important to be in alignment with where you want to go than to hit a certain timeline. That is my personal opinion. It's like finishing A Mirror of Shadows and making it really good and making sure that's the genre I want to be writing and that I'm proud of myself. That is more important than that it gets done in October versus December. And that is part of what I have tried to give myself a little grace on. And the part where the guilt comes in is because I told people it would be October. And now I feel guilty that I'm like not living up to the expectations. And so part of what I'm trying when we talk about goals for 2026 is to let go of promising people things. And that has worked really well for Spooktacular, for example. I told everybody, at the very beginning of the month, I said, here's the plan. What's going to happen is some of these things probably won't happen when I said they were going to. I'm going to start reading this story. I might need, if I come across a week that I need more time, I will take it. And because I set that expectation from the beginning, it's been fine. And I did the same thing with NaNoWriMo Diaries / Rough Draft Diaries this time. And I said, if I can't show up or I get too tired, I'm going to take a day off. And nobody's mad about that. And if they are, they haven't told me, and that's fine. But it's just sometimes it's the pressure we put on ourselves. How is working with the fairy plot mother? So she's amazing. That process did not work for me. I can't fully express it. It works for a lot of my friends. I was hoping it was going to work for me, but it just didn't. And part of that is the muse always wins, because she kept saying, any of these ideas are fine. Just start writing. And I'm like, I cannot start writing until the idea is the right idea. And that is just not the way everybody works, but I know it's the way that I work. And I can't fully explain it, and I can't seem to change it because it's just been that way for 15 years. That for me, it's like a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit. And if it doesn't quite fit, I just can't write it because I know I'm wasting words. Like there's just no point. But then there's also a point where I'm like, this is close enough that I can start writing and it'll fill in the puzzle as I go. But having somebody that I was meeting with twice a week that was expecting those answers to come faster was not helpful. So it was not her at all. It was just me. She's lovely. But it just wasn't my process. But I tried it. And that is helpful because I learned a lot about myself through the process. But I will do some videos next time about coming up next year about what I have found helped, but I have to wait until this next book to see if it also helps me through that, to make sure that it wasn't just a one and done. What are your top strengths? I feel like Becca saying something about thinking strengths needs certain clarity in their process. So my top 5 strengths. So for anybody that isn't familiar, Becca, she's talking about is Becca Syme, not the fairy plot mother who is Becca Mysore. Becca Syme is an amazing writer coach. If you are a writer, I highly recommend following her. I think her actual YouTube channel is the Quitcast here. She has a podcast. She's a dear friend of mine. She's really great. And she specializes in Clifton Strengths. And that is kind of like a personality test. I don't know if she would call it that, but it's like a test you might even take in corporate or something that is it 36 strengths, and you take a test and it tells you kind of like an Enneagram or something like that, but it's much more personalized. So my top 5 strengths are futuristic, strategic, learner, communicate, or achiever, communication. So those are my top 5. 6 is positivity, which probably surprises no one. 7 is significance. But I can't remember the last 3 right now of the top 10, but strengths are really fun. And I really love it. Yeah. Can somebody link it or say at, but I think it's called the Quitcast because she has a popular book called, Dear Writer, You Need to Quit. And she also has a Kickstarter running right now for the second book, Writer, You Still Need to Quit 2.0, something like that. But if somebody has an at to her channel, please put that in there. But I don't know if any of those are specifically like the input kind of thinking strengths, but I do think that sometimes it's that futuristic strategic that are butting heads there, just because there's a part of me that's like, if it's not the best way, then it's not the way. Okay, Quitcast here on. So if you put, there we go. Angela's got it. At Becca's Syme, you'll find her. She's incredible. She's really, really great. She has a lot of good videos on burnout, if you want to look at that topic. Also, like the things that we should quit, the things that we need to look at. Angela posted to both chats. Thank you, my dear friend. Okay. So one other quick, I'm going to show you a little bit more swag because I just got all this stuff in today and I'm so excited about it. So here's the Muse Always Wins hat. Isn't this so cute? I just love it. It's so pretty. And then I also got the fit check for my rough draft era in a hoodie. I don't have it in a zip hoodie, but this is the hoodie like comfort hoodie. It's so cute. And I got it oversized. And then I also got this cute pink mug. The Muse always wins. It's so cute. And then the Rough Draft Challenge shirt. I'm so obsessed. It's so cute. And now that I'm making some of my own swag stuff, I'm like, bring on all of the suggestions, because we can make any writerly merch we want. So that stuff is super fun. Oh, is there a test for the strengths? Yes, it is Clifton Strengths or Gallup, Gallup. But if you search for Clifton Strengths, there's a test. My therapist told me sometimes the right decision is just making a decision, and I almost cried. Yes, I have one of my very best friends, Rebecca, which actually I'm going to show you her book. My friend Rebecca has a new release. It's called The Courting of Kingdoms by R.K. Sampson. This is her alternate cover, and it is the foreshadowing edition. I just got it in today. I'm so excited, but she's got some there's a cool prophecy in here. And she actually took a course at Harvard about prophecies. It's super cool. So if you guys are into romantasy, it's kind of, I think she says Light Lark meets The Selection. Highly recommend throwing it in. So anyway, Rebecca's book is out, but my dear friend Rebecca, she takes action very quickly on stuff. She's just like, okay, this is what I want to do, and it'll be done tomorrow. I tend to overthink it a little bit, and there's no right or wrong way. Your way is just your way. But I think sometimes I need to jump in a little bit faster. Oh, The Selection was a YA series. It's over now, but I think it's like a competition to become the queen. It's a young adult series. Did anybody read that? I think that was Kira Cass. Is that right? I'm not sure. Oh no, your critique partners all dropped out. You know what? Janine, send me an email. I may not be able to answer it just right away, but we do have some other people that are interested because their critique group also dropped out. So I might be able to pair you with somebody else. Kira Cass. Yeah. So if you liked that, you might like Rebecca's new book. It is free in Kindle Unlimited, or it's available on paperback. I also got my friend Casey's book, Shadow Card Guardian. This is a lit RPG. So just shouting out to my dear friends. And then I also I haven't talked about my work yet. I got Chloe Gong's Cold Wire, which is a cyberpunk book. She actually signed it. Dun, dun, dun. I have her signature. I'm so excited. So anyway, these are some books I'm reading. Off topic. Okay, so let's talk about goals now that we're about halfway through. And my word of the year, which I just picked this morning. Gail, are you here? Because I know you said you have a font. So Gail, one of our beautiful members here, made this radiant for me. I mean, this is just so amazing. Hand painted. It's just, I love it. So my word, yay, Gail is here. Thank you so much for agreeing, offering to make one for me this year. So radiant was my word for 2025. And really I don't know that I fully embodied it for part of the year, because I felt the opposite of radiant. I felt very creatively burned out. But I have made my way back to radiant, I hope. And I know many of you have mentioned that you've noticed a difference in my content over the last couple of months. And it is just purely authentically me getting back to a place of just feeling excited again for the future and getting over that level of burnout, which is why I'm being careful with not showing up for a vlog if I can't. I'm just trying to be kinder to myself in that way. But my word for 2026 is going to be sovereign. And I will tell you how I came up with this word. So I will put it up on the screen for anybody that's like, what? Except hopefully I don't spell it wrong. Is this right? Sovereign. Hopefully this is spelled correctly. It looks weird for some reason, but I think that's right. It might be IE. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. So the word is sovereign. And I am really the way that this has come in for me and the way that I choose my word of the year is kind of a process. So I'm going to walk you through that process. It's spelled okay. I think he was like, why does that look weird? I'm in a room full of writers, so I felt nervous. My word for the year is stable, which is funny because I think it's the year of the horse. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. We need Andrew to spell check. Where's my brilliant son? Yes, that is so good. I got to learn to spell sovereign before 2026. I know. It's like, let's make sure I can spell it before I make it my word. Oh, I think my word is go. Listen, finally publishing my book after years of setbacks. Janine, I'm going to shout your book release from the rooftops because I will be so proud of you. My word of the year is nourish. If you know your word of the year, pop it into the chat. If you've got some questions like, hey, I want something along this, give me some synonyms. We'll help you figure it out. Spell check for my sovereign era. I love it. I love it. How did Andrew do at the spelling bee? He won first place. So he's going to the district or the regional spelling bee. And I am very proud of him. So that'll be in January. Hopefully he does great. I'm very proud of him. We're studying a lot. So here's the steps that I have used if you are still looking for your word of the year. One, let's talk about, before we go into steps, let's talk about why it matters. I made some little notes over here. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. One, oh, thrive. Yay, courageous. Okay. Why does it matter? Why does picking a word of the year matter? It's obviously not a necessity. Plenty of people go through their lives without ever picking a word of the year, and they do just fine. But for me, the reason that I do it and the reason it matters to me is because it serves as a focus tool to come in and say, this is what I'm focusing on this year. This is how I want to feel. It's kind of like a declaration. And of course, everyone's year is going to have multiple meanings, multiple goals, multiple things, but having this, which is why I'm so grateful to Gail for sending this to me, which was such a beautiful surprise in my mailbox earlier this year. I have had it sitting on my desk all year. And every time I look at it, I've just used it as inspiration of like, yes, I want to radiate joy. I want to love my life. And I want other people to feel like they're a part of something. And I want to just shine a light on that, like joy, truth, vulnerability. And so it has been a focus. Yeah, I love this. So Maple says, it's like an anchor for me, a reminder of who I was at the end of last year and what I was looking forward to. I love that. And sometimes it's going to take a few years. You might keep the same word for the, several years in a row. You might pick multiple words, you might pick a phrase, or you might not pick anything at all, or you might go through part of the year and then think that's the word that resonates for me. So there's no rules about it. But just for me, that's the why, is it gives me a focus for like, what am I really trying to achieve? But before I set my word, here's what I do. Number one, I go to vision, which surprises no one who has been a member of any of my courses. But the vision, the long-term vision, I'm also, like I said, number one, futuristic. So this comes naturally to me. But I start thinking about like, what is it that I want? Who do I want to be as a writer? Who do I want to be as a mom, as a woman? Who do I want to be as a community leader? Who do I want to be as a friend, as a wife? And I don't take it from a place of pressure. I think of it from a place of joy and excitement of like, who am I becoming? And also a place of empowerment of like, no matter what I've been through, no matter what this last year mistakes were, or no matter what I've done in the past that I'm maybe not proud of or I wish was different, I have an opportunity anytime I want to design something different for my life, to show up differently, to be more excited, to do the work, to change a pattern, to change a habit, to change a mindset. Like it gives me that power of saying, okay, I get to choose. And so when I start thinking about my vision, that's what I think is I get to choose. I get to choose some of it. There are always going to be things that are outside of my control. Obviously, that's true for everyone, but there are certain things that I can steer in the right direction. And without a vision, like if I've used this before, so apologize for the redundancy, but if you wanted to drive from Dallas, Texas to Boston, Massachusetts, you could probably figure it out by going in some kind of general like northeast direction, but it's so much easier to get from here to there more efficiently if you had a GPS or a map in some way that was telling you, when you get here, get on this railing, get off on this exit, get on this highway, get on this road, turn right here, turn left here. There's a gas station over here. Like, the more you know where you're going, the easier it is to navigate. And so when you have a clear vision of, this is the kind of person I want to be, and these are the things I most want to accomplish, it makes it a lot easier to align yourself and to make decisions that align with that future that you're trying to call into your life. Yeah, I know why I want to go to Boston too. I want to see my friends. But it's definitely this like idea of, if you don't know at all where you're going, it gets really difficult when someone says, do you want to do this thing, to know if that aligns or not. And I would say that there are certain maybe phases of our life where we go through that it's just like, I don't know, I'm just in an experimental phase. I'm trying to figure out what I want. So there's no pressure to have that clear vision. But for me, where I am in my life, and the fact that I am, already running multiple businesses, I already have a family, like, I've got a very clear direction of where I want to take this and go next. And so I start thinking about, how do I want to feel? Who do I want to become? How do I want to respond to things? How do I want to act on a daily basis? What are the habits I want to explore and cultivate? And so I will just make a fun list. And part of where I start is Pinterest. So I will pull out my tablet and I will just pull up Pinterest for several nights in a row. And I will start like a 2026 vision board of Pinterest things. And I will pin quotes and visuals and other things that just make me feel the way, like bring up the feelings of the things I want to bring into my life. And then I will start thinking, and I will make this point too, that how you want to feel is just as important as what you want to accomplish. Because you could say, well, I want to be a 7-figure author, or I want to be a 6-figure author. But there's lots of paths to becoming that. How do you want to feel along the way? Because somebody will take that and say, well, I'm going to write 16 books a year. And somebody else might be like, well, that sounds like hell, or that sounds completely impossible. Ideally, your vision for the future will make you feel excited and encouraged, and it will make you hopeful for who you're going to be, not oppressed and feeling like it's I had a word and I forgot it. Oh, Rachel, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It'll come back. It'll be back. But thinking about how you want to feel on the way. So if you're having trouble with your vision, one thing that might be a helpful sort of path to getting there is to not only ask yourself, what do I want? But also, like, how will it feel when I get there? And what am I not willing to sacrifice in order to get there? Because if you say, well, I want to be a 7-figure author, but you also say, I'm not willing to sacrifice weekends and evenings to get there, then you're going to have to be hyper strategic about where you are going. Like, you can't waste any time when it comes to that, because every working hour that you have is going to need to be hyper focused, because you need to say, I want to get there, but I don't want to get there exhausted and sick and not being able to like be healthy enough to continue on, right? Like, I want to be there, but I want it to feel this way. And then that can help sometimes, because you might say, you know what, actually, I don't want to be a 7-figure author because I think that's going to take too many sacrifices, right? How is it everyone and I know in the world seems to know when I want to watch a Sarah's live? Tell them to leave you alone. Put a sign on your door. Do not disturb. So that is where I start. Vision for the future, getting aligned with it. The second thing that I do is a review. And I say, what's not working? How did I feel this year that I don't want to feel anymore? So one thing for me is, I know that I cannot push myself into sickness and illness again. And I know that this is not something everyone in my audience always understands, but again, in the interest of judgment-free zone, and we're all individuals and let people be who they are, I am just somebody who naturally wants to be busy. I like being busy. I like having lots of goals. I like having lots of tasks. I like every minute of my day being accounted for. And then I also have some days where, like yesterday, so even yesterday, I took the day off. I spent the morning volunteering at the school, doing an art project. We went to lunch. I still went out and did a bunch of things. I cleaned the house. So it was like, I like being busy. It is my comfort zone. It is a fun place for me. I love to put on some headphones and get to work. But there are a lot of people that judge that. And so sometimes I find that I'm holding myself back because people are like, why do you do so much? Why are you like this? And so I have to like understand that for me, I get to be whoever I want to be. And for you, you get to be whoever you want to be too. And I think that, that is part of the step, is like reviewing and saying, okay, I like to be busy. Hello, Megan. Welcome, welcome. I like to be busy. However, I don't like to be sick and I don't like to be burned out. So then there becomes this review of like, okay, but what really led to the burnout? Because I know it's not just busyness. So it was it that I went over a threshold where I became too busy. What? We got a new member, Drawn from Darkness. Welcome, welcome. New YouTube member, Broken Chapter Society. I do not have a membership yet on Heart Breathings, but is coming next year. But what piece of that? And sometimes that really takes some deep thought that you might not have ever done in your life. I highly recommend a journal. Grab a journal, make it beautiful, make it cheap. Who knows? I used to write in a bunch of spiral notebooks. Like there was one year, George and I always talk about this year because it was just one of those funny things. When George and I had first gotten together, we went to Target. And it was just after back to school. And they had one of those big, those big like cases, like a crate full of spiral notebooks. And they're usually pretty cheap anyway. They were like usually 50 cents or $1. But because it was like clearing out their back to school, they had that whole thing of notebooks for like 5 cents each. We just bought like 2 crates of them. And I just like George, I think George still has some, to be honest, because he still has staples from when he was in high school. I'm not kidding. We're in our 40s. He still has staples from high school. But anyway, he also still has pencils from when he was in high school. But I used to just do morning pages and I would just fill those journals all the way to the end. 5 cents. Like, I'm not kidding. Now, granted, this was 15 years ago, but I loved that. It was like the best find ever. So it doesn't have to be a fancy notebook, but it can be. But go and grab a notebook and literally just start journaling and give yourself permission. Because I know for some of you, the hard thing is giving yourself permission to want what you want. Because maybe you've been told before, you're not worthy of it. Who do you think you are? You have a fear that if you become elevated or you do better than your family or better than your sister or something like that, that you will be abandoned, that you won't fit in anymore, that you'll be an outcast because you've like gone beyond your parents' income or gone beyond what people expected of you. And sometimes that's why success can be scary. But one of the most valuable things you can do for yourself, if you're emotionally ready for it, and if you have support, is just journaling about like, if there were no limits and I could just truly be whatever I want to be, what would I want? And so part of that is the review process too, because if you can't, here comes the jealous, right? Like sometimes we are afraid of that. Of like, I don't want people to be angry at me because I became a 7-figure author. Like, who would be mad at me? And sometimes it seems like a silly thing, but it is a real subconscious fear. We'll make a permission chain. Everyone who needs permission will give it to the next person, and then we all get it. I love that. I love this idea of going through and being like, if I could have anything, what would I want? And then also combining that. So that's the future vision side, but also combining that to get clarity by saying, yeah, but what do I not want? What am I not willing to sacrifice? Who am I not willing to be? Like for me, I'm not willing to write a genre I don't enjoy. I'm just not. Every book I have is always going to have a romance in it, but it's also probably going to be fast paced. Although my Fair Hope books are much more character driven and I loved those books too, but like, I'm not willing to write a genre I don't like in order to be like trendy. That's something I'm not willing to do. No judgment against people that do want to do that, because there's all kinds of paths, but I know I'm not willing to do that. I'm also not willing to completely give up my time with my kids in order to be more successful. So thinking about the things that you're not willing to give up, you're not willing to sacrifice, what are the non-negotiables? But then also like getting real about like, where am I holding myself back? Where am I playing small? Where am I dimming my own light because I'm afraid of what people will think of me or how people will judge me? And really like allowing yourself to admit where you're scared, admit why you're scared, and getting deep into the journaling. And that's where I then also will get into what lights me up because I need to be doing something that lights me up. And this for me was a big, speaking of lights me up, like big light bulb over my head when I started to think, why am I burned out when I like to be this busy? Did I just push too hard? Or is there another aspect of it? So for one, yes, I think I did push too hard. I was trying to do more than what I could do without the support systems in place. So that I have learned, I'm putting more support in place. The second piece of it though is I was focusing so much on things that I was doing out of obligation and responsibility, and I was getting so serious about strategy and whether this is going to work and how should I do this, that I had kind of sucked the joy out of the experimental process. And so what I started to understand was this, that because I felt like I share everything that I'm trying with the internet, if I try something and I fail at it, that people will judge me for it, which actually I don't think is true. So this is something Becca Syme says a lot. It's like question the premise. I don't think that's true that people will judge me. There's going to be people that judge me no matter what, because that's just the way the internet is. But I think it's just my own fear of like, what if I fail publicly? So for example, I've wanted to do a Kickstarter for a very, very long time, but I'm terrified to do a Kickstarter because what if like everyone can see how much you raised? Everyone can see whether it was a big success. And so I'm terrified that if I do it and it doesn't live up to expectations that other people had of me, that I will seem less authoritative or like I don't know what I'm doing. Or if I try and experiment with, so for example, cyberpunk, this is I try to pull the sticker off. I will get the sticker off. One of my pet peeves in life is books that have stickers printed onto the book where it says like now on Amazon Prime or now on Netflix thing, and it's printed on the cover. I hate it. But anyway, side note, I will get that sticker off, but I would like to write cyberpunk. So I have this story called Loxley. Some of you have read it before. And I would like to write cyberpunk. And even in my Mirror of Shadows book that I'm reading right now, which is very fantasy, there is some sort of game lit RPG elements to it, not fully, but a little bit. And so it's just like, oh my gosh. Yes, thank you. Like extreme hate for the printed on sticker badge. I'm like, no. But yes, there's that feeling. Yay, cyberpunk, I'm in. I really want to write it. And I have stories that I want to tell, but it's a little bit of a shift from my current genre, although not completely. But it feels like, oh my gosh, what if I go in this new direction or I try new cover art and it fails and there's people watching me and they think I don't know what I'm doing. And that is like all fears are valid, but it's not really something that needs to be taking my energy. But I think that for a while I was allowing that fear to be the decision maker, the ringmaster of my life. And that's where the burnout was coming from. It wasn't coming from, I'm too busy, not entirely. It was also coming from, instead of doing the things that I'm excited about that light me up, I'm living from fear. And so the minute I was like, you know what, I'm just going to write this book, A Mirror, because there was a big part of me that was afraid to write A Mirror of Shadows because I knew there's thousands of people waiting for book 12 of my Shadow Demon saga. And I just was like, so many people are going to be angry with me and I'm afraid. And then I just thought, well, nothing's getting written. So you can, if you want to be angry, you can, but at least I'm writing. And so I decided to push aside that fear and go for it. And I have not gotten a single angry email, at least that I'm aware of. If I did, then my assistant, Elisa, has gotten rid of it. But as far as I know, nobody's mad. There's people just still waiting. There's probably people still just being like, whatever, she may never write that. But there's so many people excited for this book. And so sometimes the fears that we allow to hold us back are actually what's holding us back from our joy instead. And so changing that is like so exciting to be able to say, well, I'm just going to follow what lights me up. And that has been really fun and it has made a big difference for me. So as I think about what lights me up, I started thinking about 3 different ways to think about my goals. So, one is I heard this on a podcast with Natalie Dawson and the CEO, Diary of a CEO, and she said PPF, personal, professional, financial. And so I started there because I just heard this on a podcast when I was getting my nails done last week. I was like, okay, let's start with personal, professional, financial. And so when I think about personal, I'm thinking about my health, the way I want to feel, the way I am with my family, those kind of things. So I just took a journal. I actually was writing in this journal here, which I love. This will be my main journal for next year. I am vastly simplifying my planners for next year. So I'll talk about that in a minute too. But I journaled like 6 pages in here about personal goals. What do I want? What would I like to see? Not just next year, but like in my life in general. Professional. So I have a section for heart breathings and all the things I want to create and do. And then Sarra Cannon, all the books I want to write, how I want to do my days, how I want to arrange things. And then financial, like I want to pay off both of our cars. I would like to invest more money. I really want to get a trademark on heart breathings. Like there's several things I want to do. That's part of the professional, but also like having the money to do it. I want to finish all my books in audio, like those kind of things meld together. So that was so clarifying. So I sat down today. I want a pool. I want a pool. I want a pool and I want a TV deal. Someday these 2 things will come to me. My book will be on TV and I will have a pool in the backyard and we will just put Netflix or whatever it happens to be up on the screen. And just from the pool, we'll watch Beautiful Demons on TV or whatever it might be. That's the big dream. So I started there. I wrote down all those things and I did not tell myself at any point that I couldn't have it. It was like, why not? Why not me? Let's do it. Let's dream big. And then from there, I started thinking about all that combination of things, the vision for the future, the things I don't want. And actually, one of the things that I made was a list of what's in for 2025 or 6 and what's out. And let me see if I think it was in this journal, but it might be in my nightly journal. It's not in this one. But like in for 2026 is taking responsibility for my actions and trusting myself, more confidence, better health, saying no when it feels like too much, giving myself grace. Those are things that are all in. Creativity, writing, like all those good things. Things that are out are overpromising, feeling guilty, using too many tools that end up right now being a distraction. Like I love my planners. It will be very sad to reduce them, but also I have to because I need more time to do the things that I want. So I'm trying to consolidate. So out is using 20 different planning systems. In is organizing my digital life, my boss energy a little bit better. So that is how I came to it. So once I combined all those things of like, here's what I want personally, professionally, financially, I was looking through words. I was looking at wild woman. I was looking at, it's one of the most recent episodes. Her name is Natalie Dawson. She's part of Cardone Adventures. I didn't agree with everything that she had to say because she was like, I have no hobbies. I work all the time. And I was like, well, I know I don't want that. I know I don't want that. However, she also said a few good things in there too. So I thought she was interesting to listen to. But yeah, Natalie Dawson, I believe was her name. So I really am thinking ahead to the future and just being like, here's how I want to feel. What's a word that embodies all of that? Wild woman, being free, freedom, all of those kind of words kept coming up to me. And suddenly I was like, sovereign. Like I want to, like for me, what that means is self-control, self-governing, self-trust. It means being like, I am the income provider we're a single income family for the most part. George does do Roblox games, but that's kind of a side thing that it doesn't really cover the expenses. So I am the queen. I am the matriarch of the household. And that comes with some responsibility, but I want to be that provider and continue to be that provider in our household, but also be the nurturer. Like, I don't want to give up that role of being the mom either. So that's part of the sovereignty, is like self-trust, governance, being the queen of my household. Yes, exactly, Abby. Like, knowing my worth, getting that confidence, not apologizing for the way that I am, not apologizing and taking responsibility for if I make any mistakes, and taking responsibility for myself, but not apologizing for just being myself, and not allowing fear to be sovereign in my life, but instead allowing my truth and my authenticity to be the decision maker. And I'm like, maybe we need the crown on, maybe we need it. And I think actually what I'm going to do in 2026, I've been having fun with this all day, is I'm going to do kind of like a queen for a day every single month, where I am going to have a single day every month where I do no work and I just nourish myself. I'm going to get a facial or a massage, or I'm going to lay in the bath, or I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to, pamper myself with like a face mask, or, whatever it may be. But I'm going to have one day a month that is going to be my like queen for a day. And it doesn't mean necessarily spending money, but it just means, oh my gosh, Dragon Queen. I love it. I love it. So Lizzie, this is so good, because that was like when I started looking up sovereign and like synonyms and other words that are similar, Empress comes up. And for me, my lifetime growth card in tarot is the Empress. And I have always resonated with that. And so it's like perfect. Sovereign felt like the perfect word. And I have for a very long time been scared to, like, I want those goals. I will say that I want those goals, but I'm also sometimes scared to do the work, like the things that are outside my comfort zone, because I don't fully feel worthy of stepping into that like higher level. Like, I'll say I want a TV deal, but the thought of actually walking the red carpet makes me feel like I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm too old. I'm this, I'm that. And none of that is true. And none of that is necessary. But it's like my fear mechanisms start to shut me down. And this is the year I'm going to work to break through those beliefs that limit me and keep me small. And I'm going to get on TikTok and do the things. And I'm going to get the special editions and do the Kickstarter. But I know also from the wish list that I made that I can't do that all by myself, which means that I have to be sovereign enough to accept help from the people that know how to help and support. And that includes my husband. We had long talks about ways that he can continue to help support, because I sometimes am scared to ask for that help. And and also walking the red carpet isn't required either. But it's like I want it on one hand and I'm scared of it on the other. And this is the year that I just say, okay, I may be scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. I need my royal advisors. I dream of you doing a Kickstarter for a printed HP90 planner. And I did come close this year. There were a lot of things I tried this year that didn't quite work out, but it just wasn't going to be the quality I wanted. So maybe next year we're not giving up the dream. Given the throne, I don't know how to believe I was the queen I'm meant to be. I know we got some K-pop demon hunters in here too. So, gonna be golden. That's what we're gonna do. So that is, so you're saying there's a chance. I feel like this is the right word for me. I'm feeling it 100%. And I started doing an entire new Pinterest board for it. And I'm definitely going to be setting up. One thing I'm going to be using more next year is Notion. So that I have a Notion. I haven't used it very much this year. So that's coming in a little bit more digital planning. One of the decisions that I'm trying to make, though, is this. And you guys can give your opinions, but my main planner, of course, will be HB90 because it is my planner. I designed it. I want to use it. It's super helpful for me. For many years, I used it in an A5 binder, and I collected A5 binders. I have a ton of them. I haven't really used them this year because I have been using, like last year, I used Happy Planner size. This year, I've been using this Erin Condren size. I love them both, but I don't wanna use 2, like, I've gotta consolidate. So which one? It's like the advantage to this Erin Condren is that I can actually use some of the Erin Condren pages in this planner. But to be honest, I don't use every page because it's too many things to keep up with. And I'm trying to simplify. God help me. I am trying to simplify in 2026 so that I can focus my energy on the things that are going to make the difference. Denise says A5. So I haven't used it in a while. And there would be like I have this one set up for like a Mirror of Shadows readings, but I haven't used it. It's too many things to keep up with. So yeah, what do I do? Whichever one takes less time. Oh, I think they're probably both going to be equal in time, but maybe not because this I would set up probably every month. Oh, I prefer A5 so I can move my pages around. I say A5 because I'm on an A5 kick. A5. It's not fair to have a cute pick on one and a plain one. Look, it's so cute on the inside though. And see, you can switch this out every month, and then you get a different setup. But it does take time to do that. But you don't have to do that. You can just use the same one. Yeah, I don't know. But I do think that. Yeah, well, this is true too. It's more accessible to your audience to imitate since most of us are not here uncoiling hair and condrens. That is actually very true. I love my A5 rings. I feel like, for A5, it was just my ride or die for years, and I haven't used them in a while. So there's this feeling of like, it feels fresh. It feels exciting. So maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah. So the 7x9 is like the happy planner. That's what I used last year. But the problem that I had is that it's too big on my desk to use the covers that I was using. And so I was like, it didn't work for me long term. I'm going to try spiral binding so I can use my EC goodies with HB90 and Q1. If you have to give up the joy of multiples, you should get the joy of setting up your monthly decoration, Dakota. I think that is not a bad idea right there. I think happy planner size will be easier to trial and error adding and eliminating. Yeah, that is true. I love the happy planner size. It's just the footprint on my desk when it was in a cover is too big. Whereas A5 is fine, and the Erin Condren I can make half size. You've got a big one. Do you think your loyalty to Erin Condren is coloring your decision? Partially because I love the planners, and it's not that I can't use them. But it's also that they send me things, so I have them, and then I do feel a little bit guilty of like, I've got these planners, I should be using them. But this is the year we get rid of guilt. Like a queen makes a decision and moves on, right? So yeah, I do feel that it does color my decision. It's not just the loyalty to Erin Condren, but it's the joy of using them. So I don't know, flip a coin and go with it. See, maybe I need more of this energy in my life of just like pick it, because so many times there's this sense of, oh my gosh, okay, I will tell you this. 3 times today, there has been a ladybug walking on my window, and at church on Sunday, my friend Marissa pulled a ladybug out of my hair. What do ladybugs mean? What do they symbolize? Because I feel like, oh, I could draw a card. I could draw a card for each. I don't have any on me right now, but I need A5s for my desk space. I prefer a bound bujo to a ring, disc, or spiral, though. I hate leaning over the middle bump. Yeah, for sure. Give the Erin and I could just give them away on the channel too, right? What I might do is do Erin Condren notebook stuff with memory keeping things, and then just only use it once a week instead of trying to keep up with it every day. I don't know, but I will say this is my final thing. I know we're going over time. So if anybody here have a Vanderspec, so I bought this used. This is Vanderspec, which they have custom planners where you can choose the color of the inside and the outside. I bought this one used a couple of years ago. It's like an orangey coral on the outside and this pink on the inside. So there was a part of me, instead of setting it up every month, that was thinking, maybe one of my rewards mid-year or whatever could be a custom Vanderspec that this is my one planner, instead of setting it up. But it is pretty. I do love it. But yeah, I think that might be a good one, is do a different one for each quarter instead of setting it up every month. Or it could be like part of my queen for a day monthly is setting up my new planner if I have time. Ladybugs represent good luck, prosperity, positive change. I love it. I had one on the weekend that I walked to a bush about 100 yards away. A very lovely piece of peace. I love it. Ladybug for luck. Positive changes. I love it. Oh, you're setting up your A5 2026 writer's notebook now. Perfect. Perfect. Maybe it's a sign for me. Yay. You're about to decimate the aphid population. Oh, is it hot around where you are? Yes, it's like 83 degrees today. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is overcast. I think it's supposed to rain tonight. So I think we're going to cool off. Are you hot in Florida, Janine? All right, you guys, that is basically our update today. I did no writing over the past couple of days, but I will be writing tonight. So there will be a vlog tomorrow. We'll be back to normal. There'll be a vlog tomorrow. There'll be a vlog every day until I need another break. But episode 13, the final episode of A Mirror of Shadows, is coming on Friday. So if you are watching this from Heart Breathings and you are interested in a romantasy that is enemies to lovers, very action-based and fast-paced, come listen to the first few episodes here on my Sarra Cannon channel. It's all available for you to listen to for free. And the finale is coming on Friday. And then I will have finished my 31st novel. It feels really good. And I'm having fun. And so I am, make sure to set aside time to cry. I will be, as soon as that is over, I'm going to be setting up my notebook and everything for book 2. And Friday, I'll be announcing the cover reveal and the title of book 2 on our Friday chat. So I hope you guys will be there for that. And if not, then I will see you in my next vlog. All right. Thank you all so much. It was fun to bring our communities together, whether you're here watching on the replay or you were here live. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you need help coming up with your word of the year, post it in the comments or come over to our Discord server or the Facebook group, and we can start a conversation and help you with our synonyms and similar kinds of words. But it's going to be great. Oh, thank you. Excited to slam the pre-order button when it's done. It's coming. It's coming. It feels good. I think 2026 is going to be a really good year. So thank you all for hanging out and listening to my tips and tricks. We will actually have, so we're going to be running HB90 and the New Year Planning Bundle, where we're going to do a live version of Your Path Forward, which is my long-term planning course, in December. But I'm also going to be doing, for the first time ever, a 2026 planning day. So this is more than just the 2-hour long plan your writing year for 2026. On December 6th, we're going to do just an all day let's plan your goals for 2026. So if you guys are interested, be on the lookout for that announcement. It's coming soon. All right, guys, I love you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here and giving me the grace of not doing a vlog every day and not having to feel guilty about it, because I know you guys are supporting me. All right. I love you. I will see you next time. Bye.